Hi, welcome back. This video is a continuation of the references and in-text citation video. Last time we talked about the Diamond book where we added a reference citation for a book, and we also added the in-text citation that corresponds to that particular book right over here. So now let's add an ebook. I'm going to go back into my references, and now I'm going to look up the instructions and an example on how to do an ebook. Then I will go into my ebook and pull out all the information, all the different elements that I need, and create the citation. Okay, so here I am inside ebook academic collection where I have found this particular fantastic book that I'm going to use for my research project. And here I can identify the title. This is part of a series. Here are the two authors, first edition, Oakland, California. This is the publisher. Here's the year. Here's the summary. It tells me that it's an ebook and additional information about the book. However, what I want to do is actually access the front page of the book or the title page. So I'm going to do so by clicking on PDF full text. I don't want to take the elements right from that page. What I want to do is go right into this book. And here's part of the title. That looks like that's the subtitle. It just looks a little different. So let me take a closer look so I can see the whole cover. Okay, so because this is in much bigger font, this is where I'm determining this is the title. Here's the subtitle. Here are my two authors. So this book has two authors. I'm going to scroll down, make this a little bit bigger. And here's the verso of the page. So here's I can find copyright and 2016, and again the publisher. So I've identified a lot of the elements for this particular book. But I still need to see if this is just one book that is authored or written by these two people, or if these are the editors. So I don't see the word editors or edited by here, so I can assume that these are the authors and that they wrote the entire book, but I'm still not sure. So I'm going to go to the table or the page that has the contents, and if these chapters, these individual chapters were authored or written by different authors, then their names most likely would appear right underneath it. So just based on that, I can assume that this particular book is authored by or written by these two people. Go back, let me scroll up. Tiffany Jana and Matthew Freeman. And this is not an edited book that it has a lot of different chapters or sections that are truly written by other people, and then they're all just put together in one book. So now that I know this information, now I will be able to try to find the example that I can follow in order to do the citation for this ebook. Okay, so now I am in the library's homepage, and again I'm going to click on citation. Then I'm going to go to APA 7th edition. Review the rules, and let's see what I can find. Oh, here's an ebook. So this one, it gives me the similar information that I need to put in here. So it's got the author, the title of the work, the publisher, and a non-database URL. So then this particular one looks like in this example, this ebook is coming from the open web. But that's not what I have. What I have is an ebook from one of our collections. So here's a note at the bottom. For ebooks from ProQuest or ESCO, do not include the name of the database. Provide the DOI if it exists. So then what I take that to mean is that if the book that I'm using has a DOI in it, I include that instead of that URL. So this might have enough information for what I'm looking for. And I can scroll down. This is just, an example of how to do one author. This example has just one author here. But if I want to see additional examples of how to do authors, even though it says here print journal, I can still use this to guide myself to see how I need to arrange the authors. Because remember, for my book, I have two authors. And here's like how we do 2 different authors. This example for the print journal has 3, and this one has 2. So I could follow this to help you do the author. But I still, don't have enough information on it, but I can start with. This gives me something to start with information from here, and then from here, I can create my citation. So I'm going to start with the authors. So here it lists Tiffany Jana and Matthew Freeman. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with Tiffany Jana because she's the first author listed, and I'm only going to need the last name and her first letter initial of her first name, and then Freeman, and then Matthew. Then I'm going to put in the year, which is 2016, but I also find it over here, 2016. And then I'm going to do the title, which is Overcoming Bias. That's the main title. And then the subtitle is Building Authentic Relationships. I'm going to start typing them in now. Let me align it on the page. And Jana. So I'm going to try to find her again to pop it in here where it goes. But this time I'm just going to go and just type it at the beginning. And then later on, I will sort them out. So I'm going to do Jana, comma, space, and T, dot, comma, space. Now I'm going to use the ampersand because that's and. Then I'm going to add this a little bit bigger. Freeman, comma, space, M. So then now I'm going to add the year, which is 2016 in parentheses. Big space. Now I'm going to add the title. Colon. Capitalize the first word in the subtitle. And I need more information here. So let me see. Building authentic relationships. Cross differences. Then I'm going to put a period. I need to italicize the title of this book, and I'm going to press Control I to italicize it. So then I'm going to press space. Now I need to put in the publisher, which is Barrett Kohler Publishers. Now I'm going to go back into my book and see if I can find a DOI. So it is not in the cover sheet. It is not on the verso. I just find the ISBN. So notice I do not put in the ISBN number. I'm looking for a DOI, and note this book does not have a DOI. So I just don't put it in there. And this book, I did not get it on a website out there. I got it from one of the library's databases. So I don't have to put anything else down because an ebook from an academic database that has a print version or a version that's in print, both of them get treated the same way. I don't have to add anything else. Oh, hold on. I noticed that I misspelled publishers. Now, the only time that I would add in ebook in here is to state if this particular ebook version is different from the print version. But from looking at this particular book, it looks like it's been just scanned in here. It doesn't say anything about abridged or anything else. So it looks like it's the same. It's just a digital version of the physical book. So I don't have to add in anything else. So if I wanted to get more information about this, right, because I followed this, I have the author, the year of publication, the title of the work. I did not add the word ebook here, but I did add publisher, and I do not need to put in a database name, no DOI, But if I still want to get a little bit more information about it, I can scroll down, from where I was here for the ebook section, scroll down a little bit, and I can click on APA 7th edition, and that'll take me to the OWLS page. I'm going to scroll down, and I can click here on APA formatting and style. Then I will need to look through on the left side, and okay, it's got a section here for books, but let me click here where it says electronic sources and see if there's something specific for ebooks. So scrolling down, electronic or Kindle books. So it's not a Kindle book, so I don't have to worry about saying, ebook or anything. It says it's not necessary to note that you have used an ebook when the content is the same as the physical book. So in this case, it is the same, so I don't have to put in there that it's an ebook. So the only time that I would distinguish the ebook or an audiobook from the print version is if the content is different. So, right, in this case, the content is the same, so I don't have to worry about anything else. So I don't have to add ebook edition or narrator or any of that stuff. So I think I am set with that ebook. So now I'm back into my document. I'm going to make sure that all of that is correct, that I didn't miss anything else, and I can just highlight everything and then sort them. Okay, so now it's been sorted. See, it's down here. Now I am ready to incorporate a text or an idea from this source. So what I'm going to do is go back into my page and try to find where it fits, and go back to the book as well. So let's just say I wanted to take a quote or an idea from this page. So I notice here's the page number, and I try to find an idea. So let's just say this one, this is what we want to select. This is what I want to quote from. So I'm going to highlight it, click on copy, and then I can go into my document and add it where it fits. So I found where I want to put it in. So I'm going to go ahead and just bring it down just so that I can have space to work in it, and then I'll fix it later. So then I could start typing in, my sentence. Then I'm going to right click, merge on there, and then here's my quote. So I'm going to open up the quote here. Then I'm going to go to the end, and so everything that's inside this quotation marks, inside the quotation marks, is word for word from my source. So after I close the ending quotation marks, I'm going to do space, and then I'm going to add the parentheses. I'm going to add the last names of all my authors: Jana, ampersand, Freeman, comma, space, and 2016, comma, space, and because it's a direct quote, when I do P for page, dot, space, and the page number, and my parentheses, and put the period at the end. So right up here where I have the squiggle stuff, that will be my own wording where I would introduce that sentence or the concept that I'm about to quote. Then here, because this is a quote within a quote, where they call it the in group, I probably want to change that to the single quotation mark. And there's that. Or I could remove a little bit of this other stuff that doesn't make so much sense, so that way it flows better. And then here I would add, in my squiggle, you would add your own words where you would match up the previous concept that you have here to tie it together with this quote, this direct quotation. I could also, instead of listing the authors inside the parentheses at the end, I could just say, according to Jana and Freeman. And then in parentheses, I put in the year 2016. Then I could add my own connection between what they're saying and my quote. Then I can add my quotation. Oh, sorry, that did not look good. So right click, add my quotation in here. remove some of the pieces that I don't want from the quote. This is word for word what they're saying. And again, change it. Whatever they have in quotes, just change it from double quote to single quote. And before I end the quote or my sentence, I'm going to close the quotation marks. Then I'm going to add a space, add a parentheses, P.37, close the parentheses, and that's it. So then here in this sentence, we added some weird stuff here at the end that I don't need. Hold on, let me fix that so it's not as confusing. So here is this sentence where I have, my signal phrase, then I'm incorporating the two authors and also the year, then my own additional thoughts. I'm not going to go into the technical writing part of it. So my own thoughts would be here to blend this with the quote. Then I have my direct quotation word for word from my source. And then I'm ending here with the page notation. So here I have, the authors, the year, the quote, and the page number, which is slightly different than using the complete parenthetical where I'm adding the last names of my authors inside the parentheses as it's in the previous sentence over here. So this is the 7th edition, but this is the same way that you would do the in-text citations for the 6th edition. In the 6th edition, the same thing. You would do the two authors in this way, and it doesn't matter if it's an ebook or a book. In the 6th edition or 7th edition, you would do the in-text in the same way. The only thing that might be different between the 6th and the 7th edition is inside the reference citation. Right here, you may need a retrieval statement. It says retrieve from and either the URL or retrieve from the name of the database. But this also depends on your professor and your professor's preference. So always double check to see if they want something else here, whether it's 6th or 7th edition.